In a remote corner of the galaxy, where stars flickered like ancient eyes watching over the vast darkness, the Celestari reigned supreme. These beings were no ordinary rulers. They were immortal, towering figures whose powers seemed to bend reality itself. Countless civilizations had fallen under their shadow, bowing to their will, fearful of defying what many called gods. For thousands of years, the Celestari held an unchallenged dominion, their strength and influence spreading like wildfire through the cosmos. But as the centuries passed, whispers of rebellion began to stir among the lesser species. The idea that these gods could be overthrown was once unthinkable, a forbidden thought even among the bravest. Yet in the shadows of countless star systems, a secret coalition was forming. This alliance brought together the galaxy's most daring and determined star-faring civilizations, including humanity, once dismissed as a young and primitive species, but now a force of growing innovation and courage. They pooled their knowledge and resources, working tirelessly to create weapons that could pierce the near-invincible armor of the Celestari. These devices were marvels of science, merging quantum, energy manipulation, dark matter resonance, and the sharpest human minds working in perfect harmony. The Coalition's laboratories buzzed with energy, their scientists pushing the boundaries of what was possible, crafting instruments designed not just to fight gods but to kill them. The day came when the Coalition assembled its strike fleet, vessels armed with these new weapons and crewed by soldiers who knew the stakes were nothing less than the survival of their species. When the fleet launched its attack, the galaxy trembled. For the first time, the unthinkable was proven true. The Celestari could be wounded, even destroyed. Shockwaves of disbelief and hope spread through star systems far and wide. This was the moment the balance of power shifted. Yet even as the Coalition celebrated, a shadow moved within their ranks. A man named Kale, whose past was shrouded in mystery, and whose presence was as unsettling as it was undeniable. Kale was unlike any soldier or leader the Coalition had seen. His eyes carried a cold fire, and his skill in combat was unmatched, as if he danced effortlessly between life and death itself. But Kale's reasons for joining the Coalition were unclear. Some believed he was humanity's secret weapon, sent to ensure victory at any cost. Others whispered darker theories, that Kale's true purpose was to sow chaos and destruction, an agent of a hidden agenda only he understood. His silence spoke volumes, and his actions left many uneasy. As Kale moved among the Coalition's leaders and warriors, the air seemed to grow heavier, filled with suspicion and silent questions. Was he the savior they needed, or a force that could unravel everything they fought for? The Coalition pressed on, driven by the hope that their new weapons would end the age of Celestari tyranny. Yet beneath the surface, an uneasy tension simmered, for while they had found a way to kill gods, they had also unleashed something unpredictable and wild, embodied in the man named Kale. As the first battles raged across star systems, it became clear that this war was not just about survival or conquest. It was a test of humanity's will, the strength of alliances, and the delicate balance between power and control. The galaxy watched, waiting to see if the Coalition could truly topple immortals or if their greatest threat was yet to come. Hidden, behind cold eyes in a shadowed past, Kale's name spread like wildfire through the battlefields where the Coalition fought to reclaim star systems from the Celestari's loyalists. Wherever the fighting grew fiercest, he appeared, a shadow in the chaos, swift and deadly. His presence alone could change the course of a skirmish, turning near defeat into stunning victory. Some hailed him as the savior of the Coalition, a warrior who embodied the fierce spirit needed to topple gods. Yet, others watched with unease, unsettled by the brutal and often merciless methods he employed. Kale fought not just to win, but to destroy without hesitation or mercy. His violence was unpredictable, his tactics unorthodox and savage, and this left many questioning whether he was truly a hero or something darker hiding beneath his calm exterior. Admiral Lena Mora, the Coalition's steady and strategic leader, found herself increasingly concerned. She respected Kale's strength but feared the shadow he cast over their cause. His disregard for rules and his willingness to slaughter prisoners unnerved her and the other leaders. The delicate alliance they had built began to show cracks, as whispers grew about Kale's true intentions. Was he driven solely by the Coalition's goal to end the Celestari reign, or did he harbor a deeper, more dangerous purpose? One day, the Coalition learned just how deadly Kale could be when he faced down a powerful Celestari commander known for crushing rebellions with an iron fist. Their duel was fierce and fast, a clash of gods and men, and ended with Kale standing victorious amid the ruins of his enemy. Yet, unlike many warriors who showed mercy to the defeated, Kale's victory was marked by a ruthless sweep. He spared no one, leaving no survivors to tell the tale. This cold brutality shocked the Coalition's ranks, setting off alarm bells among the highest leaders. The question no one dared ask aloud was what drove Kale to such extremes. Behind closed doors, away from prying eyes and battle cries, Kale allowed glimpses of his past to surface. He spoke rarely but with intensity about a life shattered by loss and betrayal. His voice carried the weight of someone who had suffered deeply, not just at the hands of the Celestari, but also from men who had turned their backs on him. His quest was not just against gods, but against all who had failed him, a dark vengeance that burned hotter than any weapon. These fragments of his past spread quietly among the Coalition, fueling distrust and fear. Some wondered if Kale was a man haunted by demons too fierce to control, while others believed he might be the key to victory no matter the cost. The fragile alliance, already strained by endless war and diverse ambitions, began to unravel at the edges. Old rivalries resurfaced, and loyalty wavered as Kale's shadow loomed larger. The leaders struggled to keep unity, knowing that any fracture could doom their mission. Kale, however, seemed unshaken, driven by a purpose that neither friend nor foe could fully understand. As battles raged on and the Coalition pushed deeper into Celestari territory, the question remained: would Kale's wrath save them all, or bring ruin to the fragile hope of a galaxy free from godlike tyranny? The line between hero and harbinger blurred, leaving the Coalition to wonder if they had unleashed a force that could not be controlled, and whether that force was humanity's last chance or its final mistake. The fragile hope for peace shattered in an instant when Kale struck down a high-ranking diplomat who had been working tirelessly to bring a faction of the Celestari, those few who doubted their leader's ruthless rule, into a fragile alliance. The assassination was sudden, brutal, and impossible to ignore. It sent shockwaves throughout the galaxy, igniting long-simmering tensions into a blazing war. The Coalition, already strained by distrust and different goals, fractured further as some factions hailed Kale's ruthless approach as the only way to truly end the Celestari's reign, while others pleaded for caution and restraint, fearing that unchecked violence would only breed chaos and endless bloodshed. Humanity, caught in the middle, struggled to reconcile its own values, built on cooperation, diplomacy, and mutual respect, with the harsh reality Kale embodied: a swift, merciless force that demanded victory at any cost. Across countless star systems, battles erupted with fury, painting the cosmos with the scars of war. Kale led from the front lines, orchestrating devastating raids that struck terror into both gods and mortals. His tactics were brutal but effective, using speed, precision, and an almost uncanny ability to anticipate enemy moves. Entire fleets vanished before they could mount a proper defense, and worlds once thought safe found themselves under siege. Even among the Celestari, fear of Kale's name grew, whispered in secret corridors and darkened halls. Yet amid the destruction and bloodshed, quieter voices began to murmur warnings that Kale's war was not as straightforward as it seemed. Some wondered if his actions were driven solely by vengeance, or a deeper, more dangerous game. What if Kale's true aim was not just the downfall of the gods, but the remaking of the galaxy in a vision only he understood? These questions unsettled allies and enemies alike. The lines between friend and foe blurred as uncertainty spread. The Coalition's leadership found themselves divided not just by strategy but by trust, unsure if Kale was a savior or a storm waiting to consume them all. Humanity's own leaders watched with growing concern as Kale's shadow stretched farther, threatening to overshadow the ideals they had fought to uphold. The war's toll was felt everywhere. Worlds burned, civilizations fractured, and the very fabric of galactic order seemed to unravel. Yet, through it all, Kale remained unshaken, moving like a force of nature through the chaos, unstoppable and unyielding. His presence was a constant reminder that the galaxy had changed forever. The cost of peace had become a war unlike any before, fueled by a man whose past was as dark as the void, and whose future held dangers no one could yet see. The stage was set for a conflict that would not only test the strength of armies and alliances but challenge the very soul of the galaxy itself. In this war, victory might not mean survival, and the price of failure could be extinction. The question hanging over every star was clear. Would the galaxy survive Kale's wrath, or would it be consumed by the fire he had ignited? The war had stretched on far longer than anyone had imagined, and its devastating toll was impossible to ignore. Entire planets were left in ruins, their once thriving cities reduced to rubble and ashes. Alliances that had once been strong and hopeful now lay in tatters, torn apart by suspicion, betrayal, and grief. The innocent suffered most, caught between forces far beyond their control, their voices lost in the roar of battle. Amid this chaos, Kale's relentless drive for vengeance grew ever more dangerous, threatening to destroy not just the ancient Celestari, but the very coalition that had dared to challenge them. His fury was a storm that consumed everything in its path, leaving nothing but despair behind. Admiral Lina Mora, once a firm believer in the strength of unity and diplomacy, now found herself desperate for a way to stop Kale before the galaxy collapsed into endless war. Her search led her down dark paths, unearthing secrets hidden from even the highest council chambers. What she discovered shocked her to the core. Kale was not merely a warrior fueled by personal revenge, but a creation, engineered, in secret by human scientists as a weapon designed specifically to challenge and kill the gods. Yet in the process, he had lost the very humanity that had made him more than just a weapon. He had become something darker, a force driven by pain and hatred rather than hope. Determined to reach the man beneath the monster, Mora sought him, out for a confrontation that would decide the fate of countless worlds. When they finally faced each other, the tension was thick and heavy, the air charged with years of conflict and unspoken truths. Mora pleaded with Kale, urging him to see the destruction his path had wrought, to consider whether the price of killing gods was worth the loss of everything that made life precious. She spoke not just as an admiral or leader, but as someone who understood the burden of choices made in war. For the first time, Kale hesitated. His cold eyes flickered with doubt as memories long buried surfaced. Memories of a past when he was still human, before the relentless hunger for vengeance had consumed him. The confrontation forced him to confront the darkness inside, questioning whether the monster he had become was truly the hero he once hoped to be. In that moment, the fate of the galaxy hung on a knife's edge, balanced between destruction and the fragile hope of redemption. Would Kale find a way back from the abyss, or would his wrath finally bring about the ruin everyone feared? The answer would not come easily, and the war that had consumed so many lives was far from over. But the possibility of peace, born from the courage to face one's own demons, glimmered like a distant star, guiding the way through the darkness. The final battle was unlike any the galaxy had ever seen, an epic clash between ancient gods and the fragile but determined coalition that dared to defy them. Kale and Admiral Lina Mora, once divided by suspicion and bloodshed, now stood side by side, united by a purpose greater than themselves. Together, they led the charge against the last of the Celestari tyrants, those immortal beings whose reign had cast a long shadow over countless worlds. The coalition's advanced weapons, the product of decades of research and sacrifice combined with Kale's unmatched combat skills and intimate knowledge of the gods' weaknesses, struck with precision and power. Every strike echoed with the i.e. weight of hope and desperation, shaking the foundations of the Celestari Empire. As the battle raged across the cosmos, Kale's true nature came to light, no longer just a weapon, but a man fighting not only for vengeance, but for redemption. Yet the gods' fall unleashed a catastrophic energy breach, threatening to tear apart reality itself. In a final, selfless act, Kale sacrificed his life to seal the breach, channeling the deadly energy through his own body to save the galaxy from annihilation. His death was a heavy blow but also a powerful symbol, a reminder of the cost of war and the strength found in sacrifice. The fractured coalition, inspired by Kale's courage and the shared victory, began to rebuild from the ruins of conflict. Old enemies extended hands in reconciliation, and new alliances formed, bound by the memory of what they had overcome together. Humanity rose from the ashes of war as a shining beacon, its people proving that true strength was not measured by the weapons they wielded but by the compassion, unity, and resilience that guided their actions. The story of Kale, the ruthless warrior who sparked a war but also sparked change, became legend across star systems. His tale was told not only as a warning about the dangers of unchecked power and vengeance, but as a testament to the power of redemption and the enduring human spirit. In the end, the galaxy learned a vital truth. The greatest power does not come from killing gods or conquering worlds, but from protecting what makes life meaningful: hope, unity, and the will to build a better future together. As the stars shone over the newly united civilizations, the dawn of a new era promised peace, cooperation, and the shared dream of a galaxy where no one would ever rule alone again.